You know that feeling, right? That moment when you're cornered at some event, maybe, or even just standing in line somewhere, and the conversation just grinds to a halt.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
brain feels like it's running on, I don't know, fumes. And the most exciting topic either of you can think of is,
Yeah.
well, I'm picturing like a detailed analysis of paint drying, maybe, or a
Yeah.
spirited debate about the humidity.
Slight chuckle,
Hey,
definitely.
we've all been there, just nodding politely while secretly plotting our escape.
It's such a universal experience, that feeling of being stuck in, like, conversational molasses.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting, I think, is that these seemingly tiny exchanges, this small talk, it actually plays a much bigger role in our lives than we often give it credit for. It's really not just about filling those awkward silences.
Okay, bigger role how, though? Like, beyond just passing the time while we're waiting for something else to happen.
Exactly. Yeah, you should think about it as really the very foundation of how we connect with other people. We rarely just dive straight into deep, meaningful discussions with someone we've just met, right?
Right, yeah.
Small talk is that first step. It's that friendly opening that lets us start building a connection. It's kind of like the first few notes of a song. They might seem simple, but they really set the stage for everything else.
Huh. So it's actually more than just like a pleasantry then.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's how we start to build rapport, find those little common threads that connect us. Just think about your day-to-day interactions with the barista, maybe, or a colleague in the lift, your neighbor. Small talk makes those encounters smoother, just more human. And what's fascinating is that engaging in these little chats actually makes you seem more approachable. It shows you're interested in others. So it's a surprisingly valuable social skill, not just some trivial thing we have to endure.
Okay. I'm starting to see it's, well, more important than I maybe thought. But the big question is still kind of nagging at me. How do we actually move beyond talking about the weather or, the squirrels? Sometimes my mind just goes completely blank.
Right. And that's where having a few strategies can really help. We can think of it like a toolkit, maybe a beyond the weather toolkit.
I like that. Okay.
So let's start with the first key, becoming observation masters. This is basically about actively noticing something in your immediate surroundings or the situation you're in, and then making a positive or genuinely curious comment about it.
Okay, so engaging with what's actually around us, not just stating the obvious like, wow, this line is long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Precisely. The trick is to go just a little step further than a simple statement. Try to connect your observation to maybe a shared experience, or just use it as a gentle way to invite conversation. For instance, if you're in a cafe, there's some cool art on the wall. Instead of just thinking nice painting, you could say something like, wow, that painting's really captivating, isn't it? Have you had a chance to look at it?
Ah, okay. So it opens the door for them to respond.
Yeah, it's like a little conversational invitation.
Right. Okay, so if someone's wearing like a band t-shirt, I could maybe say, hey, cool shirt. Are you a big fan of that band?
Exactly that. Or if you notice someone reading a book that looks interesting, you might say, oh, that book looks intriguing. What's it about? Or even, is it as good as the cover looks? Things like that.
Right.
These kinds of observations, framed as questions or just positive comments, they're much more likely to get a real response than just a generic remark.
Okay, I like that. Be observant, turn observations into gentle starters. Got it. What's the next tool in this kit?
Okay, the next essential skill is mastering the art of the open-ended question. These are like your secret weapons against those dead-end yes or no answers.
Oh, okay, good.
They really encourage the other person to share a bit more and keep the conversation, flowing.
So we're trying to avoid those conversational cul-de-sacs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me some examples of these open-ended wonders.
Sure. A really great one, quite positive, is asking, what's been a highlight of your day so far? Or maybe, what's kept you busy this week?
Oh,
Those usually get a more thoughtful response in a work context, or even casually. You could try working on anything interesting lately. Or if you want to know more about their interests, what do you enjoy doing when you're not, at work at this event, stuck in this line?
Right.
And if you're at a specific event, like a conference or party, asking, what brought you here today? Or how are you finding the workshop works really well?
Yeah, those feel like they could actually lead somewhere interesting. Unlike the usual, how are you?
Fine, you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That whole loop.
Right. And that actually leads us straight to the next crucial element, following up like a boss. Because asking those open-ended questions is great, But the real magic, that happens when you genuinely listen to their response and then ask relevant follow-up questions.
Okay, now this is where I think a lot of us, probably me included, tend to drop the ball. Like you ask a good question, they answer, and then crickets. Your mind just goes blank. You don't know where to go next.
It definitely takes practice, but the key is to really engage with what they're saying.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you ask, what's been a highlight of your week? And they say, oh, I finally finished painting my living room.
Okay.
A weak follow-up would be to just immediately pivot, like, cool, so did you see the game last night?
Right. Totally unrelated.
Exactly. A much better way is to show real interest. Ask something like, oh, wow, that sounds like a big project. What color did you go for? Or maybe, oh, that must feel good to have finished. Was it something you were looking forward to getting done?
Ah, I see. So you're sort of digging a little deeper into their topic, showing you're actually listening and you're interested.
Precisely. It shows active listening, encourages them to elaborate, and just leads to a much more engaging conversation.
Oh.
And finally, the last tool in this part of the kit, sharing a tiny, safe slice of yourself.
Okay.
Remember, small talk needs to be a two-way street. Offering small, relatable bits of information about yourself helps build that connection and keeps the exchange feeling balanced.
Yeah, tiny and safe being the key words there, I imagine. We're not launching into our entire life story with a stranger in the queue.
Absolutely not, no. Think of it more like offering a little conversational tidbit that relates to what they've just shared. So if they mention they enjoy hiking, you could respond with something like, oh, that's great. I've been meaning to check out some of the local trails myself. Any favorites you'd recommend? See? You're sharing a related interest, but you're not oversharing personal stuff.
And it invites them to keep talking about their recommendations.
Exactly. It naturally keeps the conversation going.
Okay, this whole toolkit idea, it feels much more, well, actionable, rather than just sort of hoping for the best. Observe, ask open-ended questions, follow up properly, share just a little bit.
Yeah, I think even I could put that into practice. And it really does make a huge difference in your interactions, honestly. Now, what happens when the conversation has, run its natural course? Knowing how to end it gracefully is just as important as starting it well.
Right.
You want to leave a positive impression, not just like awkward silence followed by a quick escape.
You mean avoiding the abrupt turn and the mumbled excuse? Yeah, I've definitely been guilty of that sort of dash for the exit before.
We probably all have. But a graceful exit just leaves a much better feeling. It's really about being polite and clear that you need to move on. Simple phrases work wonders, like, well, it was really nice chatting with you, name if you remember it, I should probably get going now, but I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds much smoother than my usual, frantic wave in a retreat.
It is. Another good one is, I've really enjoyed our conversation, but I actually need to, and then just briefly mention why, like, catch up with someone, or grab a refill, or get back to my desk. Giving a brief, understandable reason just helps soften the departure, makes it less abrupt.
Okay.
And, if it feels natural, if you've made a genuine connection, you can maybe say something like, it'd be great to continue this sometime. Are you on LinkedIn? Or something similar. But use that sparingly, only when it feels really appropriate.
Got it. So, clarity, politeness, maybe a hint of future connection if it feels right.
Yeah.
No more awkward crab walking away sideways.
Chuckles. Exactly. No more crab walking. It's just about providing that closure to the conversation respectfully, and that really enhances your overall social interactions in the long run.
This has been, wow, actually really insightful. It's amazing how these seemingly small adjustments in how we talk to people can make such a big difference. Every day, really. So just to recap quickly for everyone listening, we've learned small talk isn't small potatoes. It's a key building block for connection. And we've got this beyond the weather toolkit. Observe, ask open-ended questions, follow up like you mean it, and share just a tiny slice of yourself.
That's it.
And then, crucially, make a smooth, polite exit.
Absolutely. And the main thing to remember is that these are skills. You can develop them, you can improve them just by practicing. It might feel a little, unnatural at first.
Yeah, probably.
But the more you consciously try to use these techniques, the more comfortable and honestly confident you'll become in these situations.
Which leads us nicely to our listener challenge. So this week, we'd love for you to try out just one of these strategies. Just one. Maybe makes a specific observation to the person serving you coffee tomorrow.
Oh, good idea.
Or perhaps ask an open-ended question to someone you end up waiting in line with. Just pick one small thing, give it a go, and just see what happens.
That's a fantastic way to start, seriously. Remember, even those small steps can lead to really significant improvements in how you handle conversations. And hey, Don't worry if it feels a bit awkward to begin with.
It probably will.
Yeah, that's perfectly normal. Just keep practicing, and you'll definitely find your own natural way of using these tools.
And we'd love to hear about your experiences too. Share any small talk successes or even the funny struggles, maybe in the comments section, wherever you listen to this. Let's learn from each other. Thank you so much for taking this deep dive with us today.
It's been a real pleasure.
Remember to keep exploring, keep learning, and definitely try to steer clear of those really long discussions about garden gnomes.
Chuckles, excellent advice. Good chatting.
Until our next deep dive, keep those conversations flowing.